welcome to the news at 10 on NTA News 24. We are reaching you live from our studio in Abuja. I am Noleen Abel-Ameh. Thanks for joining us. Here are the headlines. President Buhari arrives at Addis Ababa ahead of inauguration of Prime Minister Abiy-Ahmed for a second five-year term in office. Third Lake Chad Governors Forum on Peace Building to commence Monday in Yaoundé, Cameroon. Plus, food security on front burner. Forum advocates adoption of biotechnology as safety net. President Muhammadu Buhari is in Addis Ababa, the Ethiopian capital, ahead of the inauguration of Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed for a second five-year term in office. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
Visiting for the first time since his last state visit to Ethiopia in February 2020, President Muhammadu Buhari arrived at Addis Ababa to a warm and befitting welcome. Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed led a high-powered government delegation to receive the Nigerian leader at Bole International Airport. Others at the airport were Nigeria's ambassador to Ethiopia, Victor Adekunle Adeleke, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, Director General, National Intelligence Agency, Rufai Ahmed Abubakar, and other senior government officials.
There's a new trend in Africa now that should not be encouraged. And when African leaders are seen to support the growth and development of democracy, it's good for the continent. I think this kind of visit boosts African solidarity. It encourages and entrenches democracy.
You recall that Nigeria has been a stabilizer of many democracies in Africa. And Mr. President has always spoken strongly about values of democracy. So his coming is to strengthen democracy.
President Muhammadu Buhari is expected to join other heads of state and government at the inauguration ceremony on Monday, marking the beginning of Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's second term in office. The president is scheduled to deliver a goodwill message at the event.
Over 50 African countries, and the Nigerian president is the one delivering the goodwill message, the solidarity message, the keynote message. Very good for our country, very good for the continent. So President Buhari is not here in just his capacity as the Nigerian president. He is here as an African leader.
That he's going to deliver a goodwill message is one of the best things that can happen, because in the minds of Africans, they will see that there are leaders who value what they say, and they push for the best for their citizens, and then for Africa in general. So his coming is one of the best things, and making a goodwill message will encourage the host Prime Minister to work for the best of his people and for Africa.
President Muhammadu Buhari, in an earlier congratulatory message, expressed Nigeria's best wishes to Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, urging him to continue with the good policies of his government that endeared him to the people. He promised continued support for the unity and territorial well-being of Ethiopia and other African states. From Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Thank you, Adamu Sambo. Nigeria can sustain and strengthen its relations with sister Africa states by promoting unity and cohesion. Permanent Secretary, Federal Minister of Foreign Affairs, Gabriel Aduda, stated this in Bissau, the capital of Guinea-Bissau, while inaugurating Nigeria's permanent mission building in that country. Anthony Folson reports.
Standing on a 1 hectare plot of land in the high-brow diplomatic enclave in Bissau, the capital city of Guinea-Bissau, The edifice, apart from office space, will provide non-consular services. Inaugurating the Mission House, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Gabriel Aduda, said the federal government has always remained committed to strengthening its relationship with its African brothers.
Federal government of Nigeria
Governo Federal de Nigéria
has shown very strong support to the government of Guinea-Bissau.
e tem mostrado suporte forte para o governo de Guiné-Bissau.
We have enjoyed very cordial relations.
De facto, nós desfrutamos boa relação cordial.
And it is as a result of this
E no resultado daquilo,
that we have taken it a step further to put in place this property.
nós tomamos passos adiante para pôr essa propriedade ali.
Oftentimes, it is not every mission that comes to a country that puts down a property like this.
Manda de viagem, que qualquer missão que vai a qualquer país para pôr edifício, propriedade sumessa.
So this shows importance and value that is attached to the people of Guinea-Bissau.
Esta mostra a importância e valor que Nigéria tem para o povo de Guiné-Bissau.
And as such, we are very delighted today.
Para ver daquilo, nós estamos muito contentes hoje.
Not only that we are here to commission this building,
Não só como nós estamos ali para fazer essa abertura,
but also that we are doing it on the occasion of our 61st independence anniversary.
e também
It is in the light of this that the Nigerian government is pushing for the speedy completion of its permanent mission house in that country. The Nigerian ambassador to Guinea-Bissau, John Usanga, said the opening of Nigeria's permanent chancery in Guinea-Bissau is a deliberate way of deepening relations.
No one can wish away the greatness of our nation. It will resolve any doubt about Nigeria's commitment to Guinea-Bissau. What we are witnessing today is not just the opening of a chancery building, but the marking of an epoch that will deepen Nigeria's diplomatic relations with Guinea-Bissau.
São excelentes, perfeitas,
In my opinion, the disclosure of everything that has been done here, it's really perfect. It's really, it's really great.
The deputy head of mission from Gambia and the president of the Nigerian community expressed satisfaction with the move by Nigeria to have a permanent mission in Bissau. Anthony Forson, NTA News.
The third meeting of the Lake Chad Governors Forum for Regional Cooperation on Stabilization, Peace Building and Sustainability is set to commence Monday, October 4 in Yaoundé, Cameroon. The forum, which is committed to promoting dialogue and cross-border cooperation on security, trade and economic recovery, is being convened by the Lake Chad Basin Commission in collaboration with the governors of the affected territories and government of Republic of Cameroon. Justin Bemui reports.
The Lake Chad region, comprising Nigeria, Cameroon, Chad and Niger, has been severely impacted by the Boko Haram insurgency and other related conflicts. The impacts range from massive internal and cross-border displacement, the destruction of fabric and property, human rights abuses, disrupted public services, and limited capacities of government institutions. Consequently, the Lake Chad Basin Commission validated the regional strategy for stabilization, recovery and resilience of the Boko Haram affected areas of the basin to provide a robust framework for addressing these complex and current challenges. This time, it was within the RSS framework, where the necessity of the forum to serve as a platform for cross-border dialogue, cooperation and exchange, as well as support to ongoing national, regional and multilateral efforts towards stabilization in the region was reiterated. Now, all is set for the third meeting of the forum to be held on the 4th and 5th of October in Yaoundé, Cameroon, with an overall objective to strengthen and consolidate on the forum's achievements. The forum will be assessing and analyzing the political, civil, security and humanitarian situations in the Lake Chad Basin region. It will also be identifying areas where cooperation and support should be reinforced and provide opportunities to share the best practices between international experts. Justin Bemuni, NTA News.
Unknown gunmen have attacked DSS and FRSC offices at Nnewi, leaving property worth millions of naira destroyed. Nwabu Fonwoye reports that the hoodlums also set ablaze the residential building of former Minister of Finance, Chu Okongu.
At the Department of State Service, DSS Nnewi, the louvers were shattered with bullets and facilities set on fire. Many residents declined interview, but one of the indigents of Nnewi who pleaded anonymity said at about 1 p.m., 6 Hilux Jeep stopped at the gate of DSS and the occupants trooped out and started shooting. He said the hoodlums also furthered their attack at FRSC, where they tried to set the building ablaze. The residential building near the area was also set ablaze by the hoodlums. The eyewitness said no life was lost. The public relations officer, FRSC, Margaret Onabe, has this to say.
Margaret, how are you? I'm fine. We just got information about your unit in Nnewi. Is it true? We're investigating it. When we get the full information, we're going to update the house.
A source close to the DSS in Anambra State who confirmed the incident says an investigation is in progress. In Oka, Nwabu Fonwoye, NTA News.
And still on security, police in Zamfara State have rescued 16 more kidnapped victims. Jamilu Ibrahim reports that a stepmother of the Speaker Zamfara State House of Assembly, alongside her 3-month-old baby kidnapped 8 weeks ago, were among the rescued captives.
The 16 kidnapped victims, including a 3-month-old baby, are the latest batch of more than 200 captives from across Zamfara State who have regained freedom within the past 4 weeks. 11 of the victims hail from Magamentande village in Kauranamura local government area, while the other 4 are from Magare community in Zurumi local government area of the state.
The police were able to rescue the victims hale and hearty. They are all medically checked, debriefed, and will be reunited with their families.
Stepmother of the Speaker Zamfara State House of Assembly, kidnapped alongside her husband more than 2 months ago, is among the rescued victims. Zamfara State Police Command is, however, silent on the fate of her husband, who is the district head of Magaria and Zurmi local government area, as the bandits were said to have kept him separately from the other captives. The police commissioner says a rescue of more kidnapped victims across the state is in the offing. In the meantime, the police and other security operatives in Zamfara State have succeeded in the arrest of a notorious armed bandits kingpin, popularly known as Bello Ruga, and some of his collaborators who had been allegedly terrorizing people of Gumi local government area of the state over the years. Things recovered from the suspects include assorted weapons, foodstuffs, drugs, and some jerrycans of petrol, among other exhibits. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
The Ministry of Defense has described as false, misleading and fake news a trending video indicting the Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Salihi Magashi, retired, carrying AK-47 rifle. A statement by Muhammad Abdul Qadri, Special Assistant to the Minister of Defense on Media and Publicity, says these are negative narratives that should be disregarded in the interest of Nigerians. He notes that this became necessary to put the record straight and to clear all doubts unwarrantedly planted in the psyche of peace-loving Nigerians. However, findings have revealed the undeniable identity of the person in the video as the rector of the Nigerian Army College of Environmental Science and Technology, NASEST, Makudi, who by virtue of his command position is statutorily allowed in the military to sign for weapons when traveling. The statement adds that Nigerians are advised to be wary of mischief makers and their collaborators on social media, sharing unverified stories to discredit the successes the fighting troops have been recording in counter-terrorism and anti-banditry campaigns in the country. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has apprehended 2 suspects while conveying drugs, ammunition, and communication equipment to bandits in Kaduna State. Recovered from the suspects are 21 RLA 7.45 mm, 16 packs of new two-way radio, 4 army-colored head mask, wallet containing army ID card, denominations of foreign currencies, and wraps of cannabis sativa, among other exhibits. Meanwhile, the agency has confiscated over 1,349 kilograms of illicit substances to include cannabis sativa, cocaine, tramadol, and methamphetamine, among others in Port Harcourt, Kaduna, and Lagos states, as well as arrest of 5 suspected drug traffickers. This News at 10 is reaching you live from Abuja. Let's take a break now. More reports when we return. Stay with us.
This is NTA News 24 broadcasting from Abuja. You can watch us anywhere, anytime on the following platforms.
Start Times, Channel 101, Greek TV, Channel 743, DSTV, Channel 419, and Go TV, Channel 456.
For more information, log on to our website, www.nta.ng, or join us on our social media handles, Facebook at NTA News 24.
For comments, suggestions, and inquiries, send an email to news24@nta.gov.ng or call us on the following numbers.
NTA News 24, news and more news.
Thank you for staying with us on the News at 10 on NTA News 24. Now, the Defense Headquarters has honored Lieutenant Colonel Abu Ali and 33 other officers and soldiers for their gallantry in the fight against Boko Haram and banditry. Correspondent Ismail Musa covered the Nobel Award night in commemoration of Nigeria at 61.
These are the Afizere Cultural Group, marching in honor of Nigeria at 61. Officers and soldiers of the armed forces fighting to defend Nigeria and its citizens.
Many have paid the supreme price in the line of duty, while others survived with varying degree of injuries.
It is also in recognition of military personnel that paid the supreme sacrifice in the cause of service to the nation and humanity.
And for that, we say a big thank you for all that you've been doing to restore law and order.
To General Lucky Irabo, the event is a testimony that the supreme price paid by the fallen heroes are not in vain.
We solemnly acknowledge and honor the memory and sacrifices of our colleagues who have paid the supreme sacrifice to fall in the line of duty.
Late Colonel Abu Ali, often described as fearless gallant officer, instrumental in recapturing territories from Boko Haram, was one of those honored. On this night, his wife and daughter stood tall for him. Among the 24 honored for outstanding performance is Flight Lieutenant Abel-Ameh and Sergeant Waziri. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
The shutdown of telecom service in 14 local government areas of Sokoto State have commenced. A cross-section of people in Dengue Shuni local government areas said the shutdown of the telecommunication services will assist greatly in stopping informants from communicating with the bandits. They expressed this optimism while speaking to NTA News on the efforts by government to end banditry and kidnapping. Dalhatu Abdullahi reports.
The shutdown of telecommunication services by the Sokoto State Government and the Federal Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy in 14 local government areas of Sokoto State is toward checkmating the activities of bandits and other collaborators. A visit to Dangeshuni, one of the affected local government in the state, indicates that telecommunication services have been suspended throughout the local government. Some residents of the area described the shutdown as a welcome development because the informants will not have access to communicate with the bandits.
If it happens to be a success, we are all right. Simply because the problem of security in this country, or specifically in this particular state, is alarming.
But if there is contact, they can contact anybody from any place to bring something for them. Maybe like they can bring food for them or pastry or anything else like this.
They commended the efforts of Sokoto State Government and the Federal Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy for implementing the containment order. Residents of the affected areas are going about their businesses peacefully. In Sokoto, Dalatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
In other news, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, is refuting information circulating the social media that the organization is conducting a recruitment exercise. A statement issued by Garbadin Mohammed, Group General Manager, Group Public Affairs Division, NNPC, says the public should disregard the information in its entirety. He said whenever NNPC decides to conduct a recruitment exercise, it will announce to the public through authentic public communication channels, including the NNPC's website. To this effect, he reiterates that the NNPC is not recruiting. The World Bank Media Tour of Edo State State Physical Transparency, Accountability and Sustainability Program, SFTAS, created by the federal government, has begun to assess the performance of states. In Edo State, the Communication Specialist SFTAS Program Coordination Unit, Ibrahim Mohammed, led a media team on a tour of agencies in the state to take a look at processes, operations, and procedures that led to achievement of results so far attained. Uduakobong Achibong reports.
Edo State in 2019 emerged one of the best performing states in the 2019 Annual Performance Assessment by CIFTAS. The media team from the Federal Ministry of Finance took their tour to some agencies in the state, including Edo State Geographic Information Service, Edo GIS, Edo State Internal Revenue Service, Edo State Public Procurement Agency, as well as the Office of the Accountant General of Edo State. Interaction cut across disbursement-linked indicators of CIFTAS achieved by the state in the areas of property and building enumeration, improved revenue generation, e-procurement, and budget transparency.
For example, the pension arrears as at 2018 when we started was 2.6 billion. If you look at our financial statement of 2020, it was already reduced to 522 million. And as at the first quarter of 2021, we had paid off that, that liability. So that is the extent to which the program has encouraged the state, to do better in managing government finances.
Ibrahim Mohammed, who represented the National Program Coordinator, Stephen Okon, wants other states to emulate best-performing states like Edo and adopt good fiscal behavior for desired results.
Beyond the disbursements, what happens after the lifespan of these CIFTAS, which is going to terminate in 2022? So we want continuity. That's why there are these institutional, legal, and system reforms put in place. We are also calling on the media and the civil society as agents of change and public enlightenment to continue to advocate for the consolidation of the ideals and the gains made.
There were attestations to the impact of CIFTAS in terms of prompt payment of entitlements. CIFTAS is an agreement between the federal government and the World Bank designed to increase and strengthen fiscal capabilities of participating states. In Benin, Uduakobong Achibong, NTA News.
And talking health now, the evolution and implementation of an integrated response to health sector emergencies occasioned by the coronavirus pandemic is arguably one of the top 3 challenges that the country has faced between the early days of 2020 till date. In this special report, health correspondent Uche Ugochukwu takes a look at how the multi-sectorial interventions have assisted in addressing the impact of the global health crisis in Nigeria.
There were weeks and months of empty streets and businesses under lock and key in Nigeria's commercial city of Lagos, Abuja, and other major cities across the country. These were aspects of the narrative of the threat and impact of COVID-19 infections in Nigeria and the country's reaction following the incursion of COVID-19 into its shores. The plot of this story may have begun in Wuhan, China in December 2019, but the world quickly became the setting. Even now, more than a year and a half since the first coronavirus infection was detected in Nigeria, one still shudders from the uncertainties that trailed the public announcement and what the country has since lost.
In our hands, and compliance is one of the keys.
This was the government's first step. A presidential task force, now Presidential Steering Committee on COVID-19, kept Nigerians abreast of public management strategies designed to monitor and evaluate the crisis, with briefings on casualty figures, safety protocols and advisories to ensure Nigerians stay safe.
After every meeting, we would meet with the governors, a subgroup of the governors, define a path of action, and make sure that we had synchrony between the national response at the federal level and at the state level across the country.
Because of our resilience, because of our ability to innovate, we're able to respond to these public health challenges. It's the same thing that we did with the polio eradication program.
While mitigative measures subsisted, the country also kick-started some actions, specifically targeting curative medicine. The Central Bank of Nigeria also offered grants to fund health-related researches in new and improved drugs, vaccines, and diagnostics of infectious diseases. This is in addition to the waiver on all imported medical equipment and supplies, which commenced from May 1, 2020.
We have expanded our laboratory capacity from just a couple of public health laboratories to well over 140 now. We have built isolation centers in nearly every tertiary institution. We have also built molecular laboratories in every institution and intensive care units. So there's been a lot of improvement and the opportunity to increase our capacity in knowledge and skills of our workers, and also the store that we have capacity for stockpiling of personal protective equipment.
However, the viral disease ability to mutate resulted in the country experiencing a second wave of the virus in December 2020, and then the current declining third wave as shown by the daily NCDC figures. In the midst of concerns over rising cases of COVID-19 came the cheering news of the successful production of effective, efficient, and safe vaccines against the disease. The second part of Health Report will bring you government's efforts at COVID-19 vaccination rollout in the country. I am Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
This news at 10 is reaching you live from Abuja. We will be back shortly. Stay tuned.
For now, the best and most efficient way to avoid getting infected is through regular hygienic and sanitary practices, as well as social distancing. As individuals, we remain the greatest weapon to fight this pandemic. By washing our hands regularly with clean water and soap, disinfecting frequently used surfaces and areas, coughing into a tissue or elbow, and strictly adhering to infection prevention control measures in health facilities, we can contain this virus.
NTA News mobile app, the one-stop information center. Real news at your fingertip. Be the first to report by uploading first-hand information on the U-Report link, and be the first to know by simply clicking on any of the links on the sidebar for headlines, domestic and foreign news, economy, security, politics, sports, and more. Stream live on your smartphone and tablets and stay connected. It's pretty easy. Simply download NTA News app from your Google Play Store and you're good to go. NTA News mobile app, your access to real-time information.
is the network service of the NTA.
We'll have to jump off a cliff just knowing that you will not crash.